Brazil has given football more legendary strikers than any other nation on earth. Pele, Ronaldo, Romário. Names that make defenders wake up in cold sweats decades after they retired. But here's what nobody talks about. For every Ronaldo tearing through defences like a freight train, there's a Zé Carlos who forgot how to score the moment he left Série B. For every Romário banging in 750 career goals, there's a Robinho who partied his talent away in Madrid's nightclubs. And for every Pele who defined an entire generation, there's a Pato whose knees gave out before he turned 25. Brazilian strikers aren't just players, they're a spectrum. A ladder that stretches from Sunday league embarrassments all the way up to footballing gods. Some never leave Brazil and become domestic legends. Others flop spectacularly at Europe's biggest clubs. A rare few become immortal. So today, we're ranking them. All of them. From the strikers who couldn't hit a barn door with a beach ball, to the ones who made the world stop and watch every time they touched the ball. This is the 7 levels of a Brazilian striker. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never look at Brazilian football the same way again. Let's start at the bottom. Level 1. Sunday League heroes. Leo Gamalho. Remember him? The second highest scorer in Brasileiro Série B history, with 90 goals in 258 appearances. In Brazil's second division, he was unstoppable. He was regularly among the top scorers. Defenders in the Série B couldn't handle him. Then he'd get promoted to the Série A, and suddenly he forgot how to score. Just 8 goals in 27 Série A matches across brief stints with Avaí in 2015 and Ponte Preta in 2017. 8 goals. That's the kind of return you'd expect from a defensive midfielder having a 1-year injury, not a striker who was terrorising the second division months earlier. By 2022, at 36 years old, he was only in his 3rd top-flight season. He became known as a classic Segundona specialist, prolific in the second tier, but never a consistent scorer when it actually mattered. The moment the quality stepped up, he vanished. No plan B, no adaptability, just vibes and the occasional tap-in against tired defences. Then there's Zé Carlos, better known as Zé do Gol. The name tells you everything. This man is the all-time leading scorer in Série B history with 92 goals in 179 games. He won the Série B Golden Boot in 2012 with 27 goals for Criciúma, then again in 2015 with 19 goals for CRB. In the second division, he was a legend. Defenders feared him, fans worshipped him. He was the king of the Segundona. But in the Série A, he was invisible. A 1-goal season at Cruzeiro in 2009, where he was infamously sent off just 7 seconds into a game. That might be the most level 1 striker stat in football history. He spent most of his career bouncing between Série B and lower leagues, never able to replicate his scoring feats when the competition improved. The problem with level 1 strikers is simple. They look brilliant against weaker opposition, but the moment the quality steps up, they vanish. No plan B. No adaptability, just raw talent that works in the second tier and nowhere else. Level 2, the Brazilian League lifers. Fred, not the Manchester United midfielder who ran like a Yorkshire Terrier on espresso. This Fred, the one who spent his entire career in Brazil and became a legend without ever leaving. In Brazil, Fred was untouchable. Almost 400 matches played for Fluminense. He won 2 Campeonato Carioca titles, a Copa do Brasil, and became the club's all-time leading scorer. In 2012, he was so good that he earned a call-up to Brazil's national team and even made the 2014 World Cup squad. Not bad for a guy who played in just 4 seasons in Europe. Luis Fabiano is another one. At São Paulo, he was a monster. 1 Copa Sudamericana title, a Copa America winner, and over 100 goals for the club. He was strong, clinical, and knew exactly how to bully Brazilian defenders. His 2009 Confederations Cup performance, where he scored 5 goals and won the Golden Boot, showed he could do it internationally too. But when he moved to Europe, Sevilla paid 10 million euros for him in 2006, and he was already 26. He scored 20 goals in 2 seasons. Decent, but not spectacular. He returned to São Paulo and continued his dominance. But the question lingered. What if he'd gone to Europe earlier? What if he'd tested himself at 20 instead of 26? Level 2 strikers are the ones who own their domestic league but never take the leap. Maybe they're scared of failure. Maybe they're too comfortable. Maybe they know their style won't translate. Whatever the reason, they stay home, dominate, and leave us wondering what could have been. Did you know? Luis Fabiano once scored a goal with his arm twice in the same play against Ireland in 2009. The referee didn't see it. The Irish did. They're still mad about it. Level 3. The European flops. Alexandre Pato. The name alone brings back memories of what could have been. At 17, he arrived at AC Milan as the next big thing. Fast, clinical, and blessed with a left foot that could curl the ball into the top corner from impossible angles. In his first season, he scored 9 goals. The next, 18. By 2010-11, he had 16. Milan fans thought they'd found their next Shevchenko. Then his body betrayed him. Injuries piled up. Thigh problems, hamstring issues, muscle tears. He spent more time in the treatment room than on the pitch. By 2013, he was done at Milan. He returned to Brazil, had a brief stint at Chelsea where he looked like he'd forgotten how to play football, then bounced around China and MLS before fading into obscurity. Pato's problem wasn't talent, it was durability. His body couldn't handle the demands of European football. And without consistency, talent means nothing. Joe. Manchester City paid 18 million euros for a striker who treated positioning like a suggestion. He started decently, but failed to live up to the hype despite flashes of talent. 2 loan spells at Everton produced 0 goals in his second stint. He returned to Brazil, battled alcoholism, and eventually found redemption. But in Europe, he was a disaster. Then there's Robinho, the next Pele, anointed by Pele himself at 15. Real Madrid paid 25 million euros for him in 2005 and gave him the number 10 shirt. He showed flashes of brilliance, but inconsistency plagued him. Partying, nightlife, and a lack of discipline derailed his career. Manchester City paid 43 million euros for him in 2008, and he scored 14 league goals. Sounds decent, right? Except only 3 came against top 4 teams. When it mattered most, he disappeared. AC Milan bought him for half the price 2 years later. He had moments, but never sustained brilliance. By the time he left Europe, his legacy was clear. Immense talent, wasted potential, and a career defined by what he didn't achieve. Level 3 strikers are the ones who had everything. The talent, the hype, the opportunity. But something went wrong. Injuries, mentality, lifestyle. They arrived in Europe as stars and left as cautionary tales. Level 4. The solid contributors. Firmino. At Liverpool, he redefined what a striker could be. He didn't score 30 goals a season. He didn't need to. Under Jurgen Klopp, Firmino became the false 9 who made Salah and Mane unstoppable. His movement created space. His pressing won the ball back. His link-up play was sublime. And when he did score, it was usually important. Champions League winner. Premier League winner. 196 goals in 631 appearances. Not spectacular numbers, but his value went beyond goals. He made everyone around him better. That's the mark of a level 4 striker. They don't need to be the star. They just need to make the team work. Richarlison. At Everton, he was their main man. 53 goals in 152 games. He carried them through tough seasons, scored crucial goals, and became a fan favourite. Tottenham paid 58 million euros for him in 2022, and while he hasn't set the world on fire, he's been solid. He works hard, scores occasionally, and does the dirty work. For Brazil, he's been even better. His goals at the 2022 World Cup, including that ridiculous bicycle kick against Serbia, showed he can deliver on the biggest stage. He's not Ronaldo, he's not Romário, but he's reliable. And sometimes that's enough. Level 5. The European stars. Gabriel Jesus. At Manchester City, he was the heir to Sergio Aguero's throne. Except he never quite got there. Pep Guardiola used him as a rotational option, and while he scored important goals, he was never the main man. 95 goals in 236 games. Solid, but not spectacular. Then he moved to Arsenal in 2022 for 52 million euros, and something clicked. Mikel Arteta gave him the responsibility he craved. He led the line, pressed relentlessly, and scored crucial goals. His movement created space for Saka and Martinelli. His work rate set the tone. Arsenal challenged for the title, and Jesus was a huge reason why. He's not the most clinical finisher. He misses chances that make you want to scream. But his overall game is elite. He's the kind of striker who makes the team better, even when he's not scoring. That's level 5. Stars who elevate their teams without needing to be the main character. Vinícius Júnior. Technically a winger, but he's played as a striker enough to count. At Real Madrid, he's become one of the most dangerous attackers in the world. His pace is terrifying. His dribbling unplayable. His finishing has improved dramatically. In 2023-24, he scored 24 goals and provided 11 assists. He's a Champions League winner, a La Liga champion, and a Ballon d'Or contender. What makes Vinícius special is his fearlessness. He takes on defenders like he's playing FIFA on amateur mode. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but he never stops trying. And when it works, it's magic. Neymar. At his peak, he was unstoppable. At Santos, he was the next big thing. At Barcelona, he formed the most lethal attacking trio in history with Messi and Suarez. 105 goals in 186 games. A Champions League title. 2 La Liga titles. He was brilliant. Then he moved to PSG for a world record 222 million euros, and the narrative shifted. Injuries plagued him. Diving accusations followed him. He won domestic titles but never delivered the Champions League PSG craved. By 2023, he moved to Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia, and his European career was over. But at his best, Neymar was level 5, a star who could take over games, create magic, and deliver when it mattered. The problem was consistency. When he was fit and focused, he was world class. Too often, he wasn't. Level 6, the club legends. Romário. At PSV Eindhoven, he was a goal machine. 128 goals in 148 games. That's not a typo. He was so good that Barcelona paid 8 million euros for him in 1993. He delivered 32 goals in his first season. A La Liga title. He was the fox in the box, the poacher who lived for tap-ins and could finish from impossible angles. Then came 1994, the World Cup. Romário dragged Brazil to their 4th title, scoring 5 goals and winning the Golden Ball. He was 28 and at the absolute peak of his powers. He returned to Brazil and continued scoring for another decade, finishing with over 750 career goals. Romário never stayed at one club long enough to become a true legend at any of them, but his impact was undeniable. Wherever he went, he scored. And when Brazil needed him most, he delivered. Ronaldinho. At Barcelona, he was more than a player. He was an experience. Between 2003 and 2008, he turned the Camp Nou into his personal playground. His smile, his tricks, his no-look passes. He made football look like art. 1 Ballon d'Or, a Champions League title, 2 La Liga titles. He was the reason kids around the world started trying elasticos in their backyards. But his peak was short. By 2008, his love for nightlife caught up with him. He left Barcelona, had a decent spell at AC Milan, then faded. But for those 5 years, he was untouchable, a club legend who changed what it meant to play for Barcelona. Level 7. The Immortals. Pele, the king, 3 World Cups, 1,279 goals in 1,363 games. The man who made football a global phenomenon. At Santos, he was untouchable. 6 Brazilian league titles, 2 Copa Libertadores. He scored over 1,000 goals for the club. 1,000. For Brazil, he was even better. 77 goals in 92 games. He scored in World Cup finals at 17 and 29. He made the beautiful game beautiful. Every Brazilian striker since has been compared to him. None have matched him. Pele didn't just play football, he defined it. He's the standard, the measuring stick, the GOAT, Ronaldo Nazário. At Barcelona, he scored 47 goals in 49 games. Then his knee exploded. He moved to Inter Milan, won the Ballon d'Or. Then his knee exploded again. He moved to Real Madrid, scored 104 goals in 177 games, and won another Ballon d'Or, 2 World Cups, 3 FIFA World Player of the Year awards, 414 career goals. But injuries robbed us of what could have been. At his peak, Ronaldo was the most complete striker ever. Pace, power, technique, finishing. He had everything. And even with his knees held together by duct tape and prayers, he was still one of the best. Before the injuries, Ronaldo was the closest thing to perfection football has ever seen. The 1996-97 season at Barcelona, the 2002 World Cup. Those moments weren't just great, they were transcendent. He scored in 2 World Cup finals. He won 2 Ballon d'Ors. He terrorised the best defenders in the world. And he did it all with knees that should have ended his career 3 times over. If Pele defined Brazilian football, Ronaldo perfected it. So, where would you rank your favourite Brazilian striker? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this, you'll love what's coming next.